I guess I was just curious about the defensive line in general. It seemed like they made a pretty big impact today. What was kind of your impression of that group, and who were some guys that are starting to stand out?
As a group in whole, I tell my guys that we're going to be the best group on the field. Lead by example, lead by example on and off the field. And, ever since spring ball, instilling that, kind of brainwash them to believe in themselves and to play at a high level as a group, as a whole, I'm very pleased with them.
Mm-hmm. In terms of individuals in that group, what are some names that you've kind of noticed so far?
Cortland Hortland is, he's a dude, and as long as he can do what he's doing all spring and fall camp, he can be a dude in the big sky. You got Terrence Jones coming in. He's picked his play up. Rainbow, Trevino, Gonzo. Those are my 4 guys that are starters that have been leading by example on and off the field. So I got a really good group of guys.
On the last play, when they're kind of just taking a shot at the end zone, and your guys, make it hard for them to get off a pass. What do you make of that play, and what do you think of that?
Well, it's not just that play. It's just been all camp.
Yeah.
We just put pressure on the quarterback, getting in the backfield, getting knocked back on the offensive lineman. And we play with bad intentions. That's the goal. That's our mindset. We red dot. It's a laser-focused mindset that we have. And like I said, you'll hear me yelling, screaming in red dot and putting hands on these guys and playing with bad intentions. And that goes from the first group all the way down to the 5th group that I have. So I'm blessed as a coach to have so many guys in my stable. You know what I'm saying? I got the quarter horses and the stallions. I got the young horses in the stable training them. And that's how we roll.
And from a technique aspect, what's the biggest improvement you've seen from spring ball to fall camp?
Yeah, just really honing in on the guy that lined up against and putting hands on him and getting knocked back. So when a guy pulls or in the pass rush set, we're in the backfield a lot. If you look at a lot of the plays, I got at least, I want all 4 back there, but I at least got 1 or 2 in the backfield causing havoc. And if we can do that during the season, then, we'll give ourselves a chance to win.
What impresses you most about Cortland, and what's he been able to do, this fall camp?
Just his work ethic. If you see the guy walking around with his shirt off, you're just like, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? It's impressive. But, he runs with the skills on the off season and is beating half the skills. He's just pushing himself to the limit, to the max, because he wants to be the best. And you can see that. Just yesterday when I was coming in, after a little break, he was out there getting some extra work in. And a lot of my guys do, but, I think the way he's dialed in, that he's due to have a good season.
I also want to ask about 2 other guys, Chester and then Todd. Is Todd more of like a lineman, or is he going to be playing more of like a linebacker?
So let me tell you about Todd Payne.
Okay.
He's a football player.
Yeah.
So when we first came here, we was looking at the long snappers and like, man, we need to do long snapper. Who is that long snapper? Todd Payne, right? And I'm like, yeah. But then I watched Todd play on defense.
Yeah. And
I was like, who is that? And they're like, that's Todd Payne. So no wonder the snaps are bad, because he's going all out on defense as well. So I said, I'll take him. And so he's steady for me. He's not a starter, but when his number's called, he goes in there and makes plays, as even today, hey, he's ready to play, he's ready to go. And, he's a football player. You can't deny him.
Yeah. And I also asked Charlie about Chester on the defensive line. Where does he kind of fitting into the defense so far, and what have you kind of made of him?
Yeah, so right now he's playing a boundary end for us, and he's got to get Chester in shape.
Yeah.
But when he goes, he's hard to block as well. He puts hands on people, he gets knocked back, gets pushed. We just got to get him rolling. I wish he was here over the summer, but we have to get him cleared and all that stuff. But he's here now. I'm excited as hell about him, and he gives us great depth. And he had a stupid penalty today, but we'll correct that, because we don't play that. So, but other than that, he's causing havoc.
First, I got to ask you about the touchdown catch you had a few minutes ago. Walk me through that play and how that kind of unfolded for you.
Everything starts with, when people talk about big plays, they just think about the guy that makes them. But it all starts with the line, giving the quarterback time to throw it, and the quarterback executing, and then the coach putting us in the right positions for the right play. So, that all goes to the credit before even the catch. So, that's it. That's the catch.
So with the catch, how does that all kind of happen, and, how are you kind of, progressing through that play?
I just see the coverage that I'm getting, and I just try to do what I do to get around it, you know what I'm saying? So just react and make a play.
Yeah. In terms of your progress this fall camp, kind of what kind of comes to mind, for you?
As far this whole offseason, I've just been trying to put on weight and just work on my blocking. My whole football career, I've been a receiver. now I'm playing tight end and some receiver, so I've just been trying to work on my blocking more so.
Mm-hmm. I guess what kind of like mentality change do you have to kind of make when you're going from receiver to tight? I know you're still gonna be playing some receiver, but when you kind of make a little bit of a change like that, what is that gonna do for you?
You gotta change. You have to have like a mean mentality when you're down there on the line for sure. When you're out a receiver, you know what I'm saying, it's more of like finesse. You can be physical, but when it's on the line, it's a whole different world.
Mm-hmm.
So just physical mentality.
Sure. I think like when I've talked to other coaches about yourself, they've always brought up kind of your size and kind of the advantage that creates for you. How do you kind of use that to your advantage when you're out there?
I mean, I've always been kind of a taller dude, so especially with them putting me at the tight end position, I'll be matched up with a lot of linebackers and safeties rather than a lot of quicker corners.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, my height, and I can move a lot. I can move better than most backers and whatnot, so I can just use that to an advantage inside.
When you signed back in, I guess, February,
Yeah.
what kind of piqued your interest in coming to Idaho State, like, in the first place?
Just the coaches off rip. They weren't even talking about like so much like the football aspect. They preached more of the family aspect and changing the culture of Idaho State, and that's what I loved. And they were super welcoming, and I could just tell that they were genuine people instead of just like wanting to get here and win games. Like they actually cared about you.
And that is it important though to instill that kind of competitive edge and mindset when you got 2 Power 5 opponents here to start the season?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, we love that. We love that we are probably most of our hardest games are in the beginning of the season, so we can really see where we stand. But at the same time, we're super confident going into those games, and we've been executing well, especially coming since spring. Now into the summer, we're competing really well. So we're excited about those first 2 games.
You been to Vegas before?
I have been to Vegas. I
Okay.
played a lot of AAU basketball, so
Okay.
a lot of the summer tournaments were in Vegas.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think of that place?
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I've never been like in the Vegas scene of how Vegas really is, but it's a cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited to play at Allegiant down there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's where the Raiders play. It's the newest stadium in the NFL, I think, and it's huge. It's right across it from the Strip. You can see it on the freeway. Super nice.